Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Balanced Life with me. I'm your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle, and we have conversations here that hopefully connect to a healthier you. And I want to have you be invited to join us today. We've got a good subject. So our subject today is talking about dating after 50. And I have a lot of people I know that are doing that, and it's a whole different criteria. So if you have a comment or even a question for myself or my guest today, I'm going to ask you to call in. The call-in number is 323-843-2826. And you could always just do it silently if you want, and you could go to my Facebook page, which is Fit by Design. It will say Balanced Life, but you got to go hit it at Fit by Design. We're streaming live there, and you can make a comment anytime, and myself or my guests will get back to you with the answer. So, our subject: joy, pain, travel, sex, fear, anxiety, pride, regret, loneliness, love, marriage, retirement, empty nest, ego, divorced, new life, new you. Sound familiar? If you're single and over 50, many of these things do. Although dating at any age can be difficult, the show today is going to focus on the challenges one faces looking for a long-term relationship after 50. My guest today, Treva Brandon Scharf, is Treva Brandon Scharf. Treva is an ICF certified professional life coach, a dating coach, a fitness professional, and first-time bride at 50. With over 35 years in the fitness industry and many more in the singles world, Treva knows firsthand how to achieve peak performance in both life and love. As a life coach and dating coach, Treva partners with clients to help realize their potential, maximize their power, and find their greatness from within. As a midlife marriage first-timer, Treva writes about surviving singledom and finding love later in life in her blog, The Late Blooming Bride. Love that. She's been featured in the Huffington Post, the Hollywood Progressive, Relationship Development and Transformation, Midlife Boulevard, Medium, Curves Connect, and Better After 50. Talking about that today. Treva currently hosts the podcast Done Being Single with her husband, Robbie, on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. So, will you please welcome to my show my guest, Treva Brandon Scharf. That's our secret audience.
We have them.
You have that?
The secret audience.
We share our audience.
Yeah, we can't see them, but they make themselves.
They're here. They're enjoying it. Yes. Thank you, Treva, for coming today. I'm really excited.
Welcome. I am too. Thank you so much.
You're one of my favorite people because I love your energy. You always have a sense of humor about most things that we've talked about. You've been a guest. You and Robbie came on mine and Dell's show about a year ago, I want to say, and we did a show on Done Being Single.
Right.
So, since you have become a dating expert, if you will, a dating coach, and I just got a hold of you and said, we need to do, because
little girl talk.
I know.
No boys allowed.
No boys allowed, but there are men that are dating after 50, and I really feel like we, from a female standpoint, where it is that we are at with this, place in our lives, those of us who are single, because I still am, and I'm over 60, and, where it is that we should be thinking about differently than what it was before when I was dating in my 20s. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And I'm so glad you're here to talk to me and give me your expert opinion and advice about this stuff.
Not that you need it.
Well, I'm still single, so maybe I do. That's the thing. So just if you give us a little background where you grew up and a little bit about yourself, we'll touch on that and then we'll get right into it.
I'm a local. I'm a native Californian.
Me too, native girls.
Born and raised in Beverly Hills. And I was, as you read in the bio, a late blooming bride. Got married, hopefully for the first time and last time, at 50. Actually, technically 51. But I met my husband at 50 on my 50th birthday. And
how old was Robbie? Robbie was a little bit older.
He's 6 years older.
Yeah. Okay. So he was in his mid-50s.
And he's never been married.
Right. As you have that in
so
common.
I kind of met my match, my male counterpart, maybe my male alter ego. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's been, for someone who has spent all of her life alone, and I mean all of it because I'm also an only child.
Oh, right.
It's been, I keep saying this word because it's just a mind blower. It is.
In a positive way.
Oh, totally.
In a totally positive way. Yeah.
Yes. Marriage later in life, particularly. It is really a mind blower.
Interesting. And see, I had the opposite because I got married. Well, I had a boyfriend at a very young age. So I met my husband when I was 19. I wasn't really dating in my 20s. I was in my teens. And, we got married in our 20s. So I'm sort of on the opposite spectrum. I knew what that early stage marriage was like. It's just a different way of being with somebody, I would say, and and navigating life, everything in life.
Most women, most of my friends my age are getting divorced. And it's just an interesting, like I did it all then. And now, we're
shifting gears. Yeah, you're going one way, and we're going another.
Yes, you got it. You got it.
Interesting. So we have different perspectives on marriage. I mean, ideally, when you get married at a young age, you think you're going to grow old with your spouse, and that it will be at different stages. Because I think relationships, period, go through different stages. Acts, if you will. One, first, second, and third act is usually. Now, when the kids are grown and out of the house, you're emptying all those words that I said in the beginning. So let's talk about, you obviously understood the dating life and dating younger and older. Let's talk about what you have seen in the shift in your friends, because I know you, like I do myself, which is why we're doing the show, what you've seen, what it's like to be dating after 50 and what you've seen people going through.
It really shouldn't be much different than dating when you were in your 20s or 30s.
The goal is the same.
The goal is the same. Yeah. Everybody has the same goal. I'm sorry, they do. Everyone wants love.
Love.
They may not be ready for long-term love, but pretty much everybody wants the same thing.
Do you think that one of the differences, and I could say, which is some of the reason why I think people who do get married earlier break up later, because you're at a different place in your life, that the type of love or the way you're looking sort of for a mate, somebody to have children with, to grow with, to learn with, when you're in your 20s, let's say. But later on in life, when you get to, where I'm at now, 50s and 60s, the criteria changes because obviously I'm not going to have kids with anybody.
Your priority changes.
So it's not that love changes, but the type of love and connection you're looking for. Like I'm not looking for somebody who's going to make pretty babies, let's say, because that's not a criteria anymore. Do you see that? Do you see that with clients?
Yeah, I think that just the priorities change. You don't. It's not about having kids and starting families anymore. Now it's about companionship and
who you can
friendship
spend the rest
and
of your life
partnership,
with. Yeah.
And those things are important. Not that they're not important when you're in your 20s and 30s, but it becomes something else as you get older, and it becomes less about. There's so much good news about this time of life and finding love later in life. It's so, it comes with its challenges.
Yes.
But the good news is that people know who they are, man. You spend your, I spent my 20s and 30s. I didn't know who the hell I was.
That's what I was saying about early
I
relationships.
did not know who I was or what I wanted. And it took this long for me to figure out, okay, this is who I am. This is what I've worked hard on. It's all kind of crystallizing. It's crystallizing. So by the time I got into my late 40s and then 50, I was absolutely, it was clear as day.
Yeah.
That this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. This is it. And I remember telling the last boyfriend I had before I met Robbie that if you don't love me now, you're not ever going
There's
to.
no time to grow into it.
Kind
That's
of,
not what.
I had just gotten to a point of dating and sort of like how a pearl forms.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know how a pearl forms, right? I think it's like from friction and inside the oyster.
Yeah, it's like a lot of like
it's a piece of sand
that come together that create that. It's a lot of going around
it's like
and
friction,
friction,
and it gets.
If you take a ball of yarn and it creates something.
Yeah. So that's how my dating life was. It was friction. It was just pain and suffering. And
yeah.
It was,
What do you think? From your standpoint, that how you played a role in that friction? Do you think you were frustrated with somebody not meeting the criteria, or were you not in a good place in your own life in certain areas? Or?
Yes, and maybe yes.
Yeah,
a little of everything. But who isn't?
No, well,
everybody.
I mean, it's always said it starts here. The love, you have to love yourself here first before you can let anybody else in to love you.
I would say that. Let me just going back to my pearl metaphor analogy, because I'm menopausal and I'll forget. So
I won't, and I am.
So eventually, through all of the trials and tribulations and the the breakups and the tumult and all that shit. Can I curse?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It delivered me.
Yeah.
It delivers you.
I like that. That's like a rebirth. It delivers you.
It will.
Yeah.
That's why you've got to love the pain. You've got to just accept whatever, whatever disappointments or breakups or things that happen on your path. It eventually you will arrive. And that's where I did by the time I was 50, because I kind of had it. Yeah. And I knew that when I told that guy what I said, that this is as good as it's going to get. I at 50, I leave open the possibility for change. Everyone can change.
Yes,
Everyone.
Absolutely. Well, that's part of what I do as a health coach, is help people change habits.
And you know this firsthand, as do I, because I'm also in the coaching business.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, yes, you can teach old dogs new tricks. You can,
Absolutely.
You can. Nobody, and by the way, there's an old, I don't know if it's an old saying, but I have heard it said that you are enough. You are enough. But you're not off the hook.
Oh, good one.
Okay. You're not.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, we are both in the self-improvement business.
Yes. And I think you never stop learning.
You never stop learning.
You never stop growing. You never
evolving,
stop. Yeah,
growing.
Exactly. Because that's
it's
when
not
things
about
become
perfection.
Locked in, and you don't lock in. Everything's ever changing.
It's not about perfection. It's about, and this is so cliche because you've heard this a million times. You want to be the best version of yourself, but it's true.
That's right.
And that is true.
And we have to work on that every single day, from an emotional, physical. I heard it said today, it's actually in the book I'm reading, and about growing older, and that for women, growing older is more of a task, because we have more things that sort of have to be dealt with as we age, I mean, men do too, but, they don't wear makeup. They don't have to put their boobs back up, They don't have to go through menopause. They do go through variopause, but it's a different loss. There's not so many hormones. They're not losing their reproduction ability and all of that. Whereas women have a lot more physical and emotional things that are triggered that they have to deal with as they age. And so the playing field isn't exactly even when you're over 50, like you talked about. We're going to
Yes.
talk about menopause, going through menopause and dating. And I know for me, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like for me, I'll be on a date and all of a sudden I'll have a hot flash. And I'll
Yes,
start.
you
and
do,
then,
baby.
And then all of a sudden, I know my face is turning red, so he's probably thinking I'm embarrassed about something I said or he said. And then all of a sudden I start, getting little sweat beads, and I'm thinking, okay, this is, and you're trying to will it away, but you can't because it's a hormonal thing that's happening. If men do have those flashes, they're not nearly as obvious.
This is what I'm saying about being this age. That who gives a fuck? This is who you are, man.
Yeah.
This is what you worked so hard for.
Yeah.
You accept it and be just gracious with what changes your body is going through. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But and I also have to be super, super careful because I'm in a new marriage, so I have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Not to be a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And to
but I
take
think
care
Robbie
of myself.
knows who.
No, he's super
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's so. I got a good guy who's really understanding.
I adore him.
Thank you.
You really did.
But you're not off the hook. This is what I'm saying. Yes, you are enough.
Yeah.
You have it all in you. It's all the goods are already in you, and there's nothing wrong with just wanting to be the best version of yourself that you can.
Exactly.
But again, you get to this age, and there has to be a level of acceptance, and it has to come from you, and you have to be able to say, "Dude, this is it. This is
what you get.
This is what's happening. This is what you get,
Mm-hmm.
and take it or leave it, or love it or leave it, and be cool with that."
Right.
And by the way, men too. The same thing. All this I'm
Absolutely.
saying to you applies
To men.
equal to men
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
Because I know
think-
women that are really hard on men.
Yeah.
They're really hard on men. They're not enough. They don't make enough. They don't, name
Something's
it.
not enough. Yeah.
And that's not cool.
It's pushing them away. And it also says
Yes.
something about them, about what's going on within them as when
Yes.
they're throwing that off on. I talking about, relationships at an older age, I've always maintained, and one of the things, even when I was married at a younger age and through my marriage, and my marriage didn't end until I was in my mid-50s, but one of the things that I always wanted to do was remain my ex-husband, or I'm going to call him my husband's, girlfriend. And at the same time saying you're not off the hook, that kind of thing is, I didn't want to let myself go, if you will. I didn't want to just not give a crap. And I'm not just talking physical. I'm talking, I was always educating myself throughout our marriage.
Right.
I was always evolving, always getting involved in nonprofits and things that I could do to better myself as a person, but also being aware of the physicality of it too. And now being single in my, when I was single in my 50s and now my 60s, I'm glad I kind of took that attitude because it's kept that criteria open for me throughout this dating life that I've had for the last 7 years. And I think men should too. They're not off the hook in that respect either. They should try to always be, what was it like when you were first dating? I'm not necessarily talking about, but that little twinge, you should always have that when you see your significant other. And I would say the longer you've been together or the older you are, the harder it is to maintain that or think that you should.
Hey, I give a ton of credit. Forget about getting married later in life, that is a feat.
Yeah.
I mean, I
much
do
more difficult. Yeah.
acknowledge that is, it's rare.
Yeah.
But how about the people that stay married, that have been married for 20, 25,
That's what I'm saying.
30
you
years.
Remain the girlfriend. Keep
That
in mind,
is
you don't
like-
want another person to come in and take that place.
Yeah, I never understood why people let themselves go. I just didn't.
No.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? That's this is to get married to me is such a gift. It's such this beautiful, like, oh my God.
Two people who have found each other,
Yes.
appreciate each other for who
right,
they are,
hello.
and taking care of
Why
you, respect.
would you ever take it for granted? Why would you ever take that person for granted? Why would you ever let yourself go? I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I'm with you. And so, like I said, from a very early age on, I realized which is, I think, why you and I are both in the health industry too, is because it was important to us to stay healthy and fit and keeping a good emotional strength about us, if you will, as we grew, whether we were in a relationship or not. Because, like I said, if you're not in a relationship like I'm not, it still comes in handy to be in this way, and be in this respect. You have the advantage. Yes,
it's like I look
exactly.
at having the experience of growing up as an only child as having come in handy. It comes in handy. It taught me. I got survival skills at a very young age,
and it shows. It shows in you. You are very outspoken. Very.
You have to be your own advocate at all times, which I just learned a little sooner than most.
Yeah. By reason.
Yes, but taking good care of yourself and having discipline, it comes in handy all over the place.
Yeah,
whether you're dating or in work or
segue
life.
Into what is it? What would you say are the do's and don'ts about getting back on the market after a breakup? Let's say if you're over 50, what would be it's kind of a laundry list because we're down to our last few minutes.
No,
I know. I told you.
Get out of here.
Right?
I
told you. I know we're just touching the surface. We can always do a follow-up show.
Gosh,
we'll do a follow-up show. Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Definitely.
My do's and don'ts. My do is be you.
Yeah, which we just
Absolutely.
talked about. Yeah.
I mean, my
be
God.
Authentic.
Be authentic. Do not lie. Go online by all means. Be yourself. Post nice pictures. Do your best to be as presentable.
Again, yes. Take pride in who you are and what
look
you
good.
Yeah.
Get your makeup done. Get your hair nice, and get maybe some professional shots. Don't put something up that's just lazy.
Right.
I mean, and then don't be lazy. That's my other. Don't be lazy with anything in your life.
Is it a do to be on a dating site or a dating app over 50? Do you think that's a must for most people?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Because it's very hard to meet somebody
But
otherwise.
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
See, that's the other part.
Right.
Okay. So, yes, get online. Go wherever you want. Do it. Cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good.
But leave open the possibility of meeting organically and in person, and get out, spend as much time in IRL
socialize
as you do online.
Yeah.
So don't just discount one for the other or substitute one for the other.
Yeah, like I told you, I go dancing on the weekends.
Here's my other do.
Yeah.
With that said, you've got to get out. Okay, I don't care how uncomfortable or how shitty you feel. You must force yourself and put some lipstick on and go to the market. Look good wherever you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody always
just look good. But you know, it always turns out that when you look your worst, you meet someone.
I know.
And that's also good. But that's good because
then they see the real. Yeah, they see really, you and your the rawness.
There's
about
something
it.
fantastic about not giving a shit.
Yeah.
You got to there's like equal parts effort and then equal parts surrender.
Yeah.
Don't care so much.
I like
That's
that.
the beauty. That's that magic spot.
So, so that kind of covered some of the don'ts. What other are don'ts? So we kind of know what you should do.
I don't care how lonely or horny you are. Do not be desperate.
Right.
Take it down, man.
Okay.
Take some deep breaths.
And sit back.
Because that will repel people.
So I have friends that are, I'm in my early 60s, and I have friends in their mid and some cases upper 60s, and they're feeling like, oh my God, if I don't meet somebody now, I'm never going to meet somebody.
That is not true.
Yeah, I know you've said this before. You say it on your website. It is never too late, right?
You're never too old, and it's never too late.
Right. Okay. Good. Because you. Again, going back to what happens as we age, more things start to trickle in and happen to us. So then we start to feel, and I have to say this is true for me. As soon as I hit 60, I thought, this is going to be harder for me. I'm going to attract a different kind of man.
Okay. Well, okay. Look, this is what I say to anybody. If a guy doesn't like you, and if a woman doesn't like you, do not take it personally. Try, please, not to. That's another thing. Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in their head.
Right.
You don't know what they want. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know if they're, I don't know, if they've got a screw loose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
they think that's in their head that could be totally different than what's standing before them.
I've had enough rejection to know that not to take it personally.
Yeah.
And also, that if the guy or the woman or the situation rejects you or doesn't want you, you don't want them. Why would you want them anyway?
Yeah.
You're not for them. They're not for you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, totally.
He's just,
I've been here.
He's not your guy. That is clear.
You know, I have a chapter in my book coming out, and it's all about dating after 50. And, you know, I've been on more than 200 dates. So I have a little bit of personal experience.
You have?
Yes. Yes, I know. Applause.
World record
Or,
holder?
oh my God, I feel so
Guinness
sorry
book?
for you. I'm sure I haven't made the
Olympics?
Guinness book.
Dating
but
Olympics? Is
yeah,
there such a thing? Long distance dating.
Maybe if you do it by age,
You're
I could be up there.
You're an endurance dater.
It's but now I've really, the last 2 years have slowed way down. The first couple of years, and mind you, I met my husband at 19, so
oh my God.
so I had
was a virgin at
I had
19.
some open doors for me suddenly. Oh, I didn't get married until I was 26.
That is crazy.
But I had open doors for me.
I don't understand.
And I let things come in the doors, you know, and then I get my criteria became different, and now I'm looking for long-term, deep connection. Something that you found with Robbie is what I crave, and I'm looking for. And you know, it's more difficult. And I just told you, the most recent.
No, it's not more difficult. It's don't get that out of your head.
It's different. It is different.
Okay, maybe
like
different.
I said, so it's a change of gears
at
this age for me.
Here's another, you know, old. I don't know who said it, but thoughts are things, you know. I'm really convinced of that.
Dell's show is all about.
So if you think hard, it's so hard, this is hard, that's hard, it's so difficult. It will be that.
That's right.
So you've got to breathe, and I'm not saying that you know, you got to be realistic. Mm-hmm. But here's the you are the prize, okay?
And I have to think of myself as that.
Yes. And let the best man win. You know?
Yeah.
You're the prize, and you just do what you do. Mm-hmm. And I say this to everybody, whoever's watching. Be you, do your thing.
Yeah.
And don't worry so much about who's looking or wanting or liking or it just kind of breathes.
Because if you get too intense about it, it kind of it won't.
And it's hard. It's hard not to, because you want what you want.
Well, you know, I was used to 35 years of my life. I had a deep connection with somebody, and then suddenly I didn't. So I want to go back to that feeling that, you know, I mean, yes, it was frustrating, and there's a reason why we got divorced, but. I want that feeling that we had for so many of those years, and what gave us children, and what gave us, you know, so much of a life together. And all those 200 dates, I haven't been able. I mean, maybe if I thought I found it in somebody, they weren't thinking on the same. You know the whole drill.
I know.
We are out of time, so
Darn.
we're going to come to final words, which you kind of just said is to be yourself, which I think is the most important thing.
Yes.
But what would be some advice? And then I want you to tell the audience how to get a hold of you.
Final advice. Yikes.
Or words of wisdom. Final thoughts.
Oh gosh, I've sort of just.
I think you said it. You just said it.
I did, but it's worth saying again because it's really important. It's not that difficult. It's not. You make it as hard as you want it to be. You know, it needn't be that hard.
Right.
Finding love, companionship, partnership, the things that you want. Okay, it may be a different version of what you thought.
Right.
So throw all those expectations out the window. If you come into anything with expectations, you will be let down.
Okay.
You'll be disappointed. So dump the expectations, stay open, stay soft, keep your heart soft, don't get bitter.
No, I like that.
Don't
keep
get
your
jaded.
heart soft. Yeah.
Don't get cynical. Try really hard. Because you will have a level at this age. The problem is you do have expectations because you know a thing or two about the world. Mm-hmm. See, when you're younger, you don't know.
That's what I was trying to say.
See, now you're kind of hip, right? You're hip to it.
Well, you're seasoned.
Right.
We're seasoned.
And right.
Yeah,
and
what you were just saying about when you met Robbie, you had already gone through it all.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is that no one is perfect. Mm-mm. I'm not, you're not, nobody is perfect.
And allow for them.
So, you know, at this age, you got to accept hot flashes, and maybe your midlife whatever, and that
Droops and
the droops and the
wrinkles
yes, and the wrinkles and the gut, and things aren't as what they were.
No. Hormonal
But
changes.
there's a beauty in that as well.
Yeah.
That makes you so beautiful,
Embrace it.
and it makes you you. And if someone doesn't want that about you or you,
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah, good. I like that advice.
I mean, in the nicest
So
way.
if somebody wants to work with you and they really want this one-on-one dating coaching or life coaching, because you're a life coach too, how can they reach you?
TrevaBrandonScharf.com.
Good. And if you're watching us, that's up on the screen.
Yes.
But if not, just go to TrevaBrandonScharf.com.
There you go.
And you've got your one-on-one helping you find that perfect match. Well, make a comment on my Facebook page if you have anything to say or any thoughts about what our conversation was today. Ask a question. Treva will get back to you. And we're going to say goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you. And join us next week. Join me next week. And remember, always go and try to connect to a healthier you. We'll see you next week.
Damn
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Do it.